welcome. This, as some of you may recognise if you're familiar with FS22, is Fairhead Farm map, and this farm that's directly ahead of me right now is probably my favourite farm of all the farms that are actually on this map already, and it's the farm that I know Fury Machine Gaming played on when he was playing on this map. The problem I have with this farm here is, although I think it's got the best yard, it's got a good milking shed set up there and things, the actual paddocks sort of close by to this farm aren't all that exciting or anything. So I wasn't a big fan of the paddocks on this farm, but I loved the farmyard. So I decided to do something different, especially since this is the fourth map I'm playing, and I mean I wanted to just change things up a wee bit. So, and yes, Greenland's farm is still the main one I'm playing on at the moment. But what I decided to do on this farm, and go for a bit of a ride and I'll show you, is I decided to create my own farm. So there was an area of this map that I really liked, and it had a house on it, but no farmyard whatsoever. So I decided to create one from scratch and keep the house that was already there and use that as my farmhouse. Though having said that, even when you purchase the house, there's no sleep trigger there. So I had to download a sleep trigger, which I'll show you when we get there. It's a bit of a ride to get there, but so I want to start off by showing you that other farm first that I almost played on this map. And it also gives you, for people that aren't familiar with FS22, it gives you a bit of a look at the map and gives you an idea of the size of the map, because it's quite a decent size map, this one. Now, it's an Irish map, so yes, of the 4 farms I'm currently playing, 3 of them are Irish and the other one's a UK map. But, here, I do really love the Irish maps. They have big flowing hills and things, and you know me, I don't like flat ground, and also they generally have fairly small type farmyards and fairly small paddocks, which suits the small equipment I like using the best. So we're almost down to my farmhouse now, just a wee bit further. If the paddocks on the right hand side of me look a wee bit sparse and things, that's because those ones are actually on the edge of the map, and some of those you can't even enter. Some of them you can, but some of them you can't even get onto, and that's why they look quite sparse. But as you can see, we're right over on the coast at the moment, and we're almost at my farm now. You can actually see that's right ahead of us. You up to the farmhouse. So this farmhouse right here is already on the map, and there's something very interesting about this farmhouse I'll show you as well. I'll just turn this off. So if you go to the actual map here, I'll go over here, you can't even see the farmhouse unless you press X to purchase land, and then you can see it's got the little area there, which calls area 66. But if you don't press the X, it's not even on the back there, sort of thing. So it can be purchased, but when you purchase it, as I said, there's no sleep trigger. So this doormat here is a sleep trigger, and I placed that doormat there in order to have a sleep trigger on for my farmhouse. So everything else you're about to see, so I've shown you what part of the map we're on. We're over on this edge here. You can see the size and shape of my farm there on the map. To give you some idea, there's the whole map there. So I don't own very much of the map really, but it's a nice area, and as I said, I've never seen anyone else farm over this area because there was no farmyard here or anything. But if you come over here, so all this is just paddocks when you buy all this land. So I'll introduce you to my farmyard first. So there's the fuel bowser. I've got a workshop there. As you can see, it's a Fiat Agri farm again. I do love my Fiat Agris. Fiat Agris, Fords and David Browns are still my favourite tractors. Now it may turn out, I haven't really played this one yet, I've only just set it up, this 180-90 may end up being too big for this farm, and if it is, then I'll take the front forks off the 11090 here, make this my big tractor, and then buy the David Brown to be the small tractor on the farm. So this may yet become the big tractor on the farm, but at the moment it's the small tractor on the farm. And I've got some cow bits and pieces there, and some baling bits and pieces and things. A lot of the equipment on this farm I deliberately didn't put very much in the way of sheds. That's all the sheds sort of for equipment. So a lot of the equipment on this farm has to live outside in the yard here. Okay. Yeah, you can either wander down past that diesel tank, or I've got another track going down behind the farm sheds here. So we'll go down here, and this is where the diesel tank bit comes out here, you see. And here is the milking shed, the main milking shed for the farm. And as you can see, it's a reasonable sized one. And I've got some milk tanks over here. Now, these aren't actually milk tanks. I think they're used for holding fertiliser or something. I just put them there as decorative. So imagine the milk tanks, because I've got the automatic milk selling mod loaded for this farm. And then over here, now you have to cross this little stream here. I may end up putting a bridge in here later, I don't know. There is a decent bridge that I like, that I could. And this is my bale storage area. So I've got some old silage bales there, some of them have even fallen over. And in this little barn here, I've got some straw and some hay. Now, remember, all of this was all one big paddock in the map when you actually load the map. But so everything here I've created. So I've got 4 cow paddocks here, which I'll just run through here and so I can show you. This one's probably the flattest of them all. If I go over here, so all these fences and gates I've put in myself. This paddock here gets quite steep up here towards the troughs. Now I have no water pumps on this farm, so I'm going to have to manually fill the troughs every day. This paddock here also gets quite steep coming up this way. So that's 3 of my 4 cow paddocks you've now seen, plus the milking shed. And then over here, this one opens this way, yep. If we go back down this track, and this one takes us back to the storage shed, but here is the 4th paddock. Again, there's the creek here, the same creek that we crossed a moment ago, with a bridge over it, and this paddock also has a decent hill to it, as you can see. So it's actually quite steep up here, especially right up to the top here. But it gives you a nice view. You can look right down on the farm quite well. So yeah, we'll go back down and out of here, and I'll show you the other paddocks at the farm that I own and what I like about the other paddocks. Oops, I might just go back and grab my quad bike again for this. So again, all these tracks here I put in myself. Up here, so I'll take you back around the other way here. So this goes around behind and out by the diesel tank and back into the small farmyard here. And we'll go out that gate and up to the farmhouse, grab the quad bike, and I'll show you the other paddocks that are. This whole map, when you download it, if I go like this for a second, you can see there's 3 paddocks or 4 paddocks on the whole map that aren't in grass, and one of them hasn't got anything planted, the other 3 have crops. So basically this whole map is all grass pretty much when you download it, and all of the paddocks I've got on my farm are all grass, either with cows on it or for mowing and baling up. So I've got one paddock that's up this way. If we head up the hill here, past my cow paddock on the on the left, there's my cow paddock. If we go up this hill, okay, I've got this paddock here. Now I'll show you why I've chosen the paddocks I've chosen, what I liked about them, and why I decided I wanted to farm on this edge of the map. So this paddock again has a creek you have to run through to get into it, so I'll have to take tractors and things through there with mowers on the back to do this paddock. See, I quite like that paddock with the creek there. And then, let's close that again. There's a bunch of other paddocks that are all on the other side of my yard. So that's the only one that's up on the uphill side of my yard. But in actual fact, this edge of the map, it drops down sort of into a valley area here, and then it will head back up onto a hill again as well. So we'll be going a wee bit further down, and then we'll be going up. And then let's paddock here. The old bathtub and things were already on the map, and that's another reason I really like the look of this map and why I wanted to do a farm on it. Okay, so then this is another grass paddock here. This one has that same creek running through the middle of it, but it's got quite shallow by the time it gets to this paddock. So this is it here. It's pretty well flat by the time it gets to this paddock. That's alright. If we come over here further, so as you can see, this paddock was on a decent bit of hill as well. And then come over to this one here. And I can't remember which way this gate opens. So we'll just park back a wee bit in case it opens towards us. No, it doesn't. That's alright. So this paddock we're just going into now is also grass. It just hasn't grown yet, but it is seeded in grass, so it will become grass. I'll show you. You can see there it says needs ploughing, growth, growing, but it is grass. A lot of my paddocks actually need ploughing, and I will be getting onto that and doing that. Now, one of the things I love about this farm, it's got areas like this one here where, you know, there's rocks and bits of it's like cliff edge and things there. So you, although that's part of the paddock, you obviously cannot mow in there, which is why the bit that's growing all goes around the edge here. And I kind of like that, you know, having little cliff faces and paddocks and things. You don't often get maps like that. And this paddock goes up here, and there's a bit of a shed here, which I'm not actually using for anything, but it does go into another. So this is another one of my paddocks here. Oh, this gate opens the other way than what I thought it would. It's alright. As I said, I've really only just finished building my farmyard. I haven't actually started farming on this map yet. But I'm definitely going to do some farming on it. Oh, that doesn't work. Why doesn't that work? Come on. Come on. Oh. Okay, it seems to be a mixture of gates that want you to stand where the gate is when they're open, and gates that want you to stand where it would be if it was closed. Again, a grass paddock, this time with power poles in the middle. Now, I don't know if these are drive-throughable or not. No, they're not. Okay, so that's good to know. I wasn't going to drive through them anyway. And this paddock has up here, a small rundown shed in the corner here. And I probably won't be using that for anything, but I might. I'm not using it for anything at the moment. I know that much. And then we head up this hill. Again, the hill gets fairly steep. And that's why at the moment I've got that 180/90 tractor, because I think I might need it because of the steepness of the hills. But I'm not sure, with all the yard that I've made, which is so tight, I'm not sure the 180 may not really work in that yard. So it's going to be a bit of a play to work out. Do I need the 180 for the power, or do I need to get rid of it because it's too big for my yard? And I also own this grass paddock here, and I think, if memory serves me correctly, this is the last paddock going up the hill that I own. Yes, it is, because there's a road through that hedge. So yeah, it's all my paddocks I own. There should be, let's just go and check here. Those are the cow paddocks. It shows us 3 there, but 87 is actually my yard, and I've turned the other 2 there into 4. So I've got 1 grass one there, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 grass paddocks, 4 cow paddocks, and a yard with a milking shed in it. Oh, I thought that was a gate there, but it's not. Okay, we won't run through there then, since there's no gate there. we'll head back down to my farmyard and we can probably call it a day for now. So this farm here, I'm planning on starting to farm it offline. I won't be recording on it straight away because I want to check that it all works and doesn't need anything changing, like tractors changing out or anything like that. But I may show you some videos on this farm later on, but I still want to be farming Greenlands as my main farm that I'm recording on at the moment and things. I would still say that Belly Spring's my favourite map overall, but I've been playing Belly Spring for so long. I'm just a wee bit bored with it at the moment, and I have saved it still, so I'm sure I will be going back to it. But yeah, so I've got Belly Spring, which is the one that I've been playing forever, and I'm just giving it a break for a while. I've got Greenlands, which is the one I used to play forever before Belly Spring came out, and I've gone back to it and really enjoying it again. I've got Arley Farm, which is a very small one. I really like the yard in it and things and the map, so I'm doing a wee bit of work on that one and things, but that one would get very boring very quickly because there's not a lot to do on my farm there. It's such a tiny farm, and probably my biggest mistake with that one was not making the farm bigger, but it's a bit hard. I don't really see a way of making it bigger in a way that I would like. And there's this one which, as I said, I'll try out offline first to make sure it all works as I intend it to, but I might make a couple of videos of this one in the future if you'd like me to. But it's probably the first one I've ever done where the whole entire farmyard and everything is all completely scratch built by me. So I would like to hear what people think of it, whether they like it or whether they don't. And I'll call that a day now and go back to doing some more work I've got to do. Thank you very much. Bye.